And welcome to Firestar Tarot. I am Empress Egypt, and that's right, you guys read the title right. This is a Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine energy check-in. So before we get started, you guys, anything I don't go over in the introduction will be in the description box down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I do post extra stuff on Instagram. I will admit I haven't been that consistent, so I do have plans to at least put a little bit more effort into my other social media platforms. So I do apologize if I'm not on there a whole lot, but I promise things will change. Also, to you guys, I had some issue with the shadow work readings, so I will be removing the shadow work readings from my channel. Not the ones that are up, but the other ones that I was doing. The trigger warnings can be difficult for some people, and I totally understand it. So I will be doing shadow work readings behind the scenes. So if you guys want a personal reading when it comes to the shadows of your life, definitely send me an email, and I'll send you over a price list. And actually, my love readings are the same price as my shadow work readings. And I always try to include facing the shadows within all of my readings. So even though I won't be doing shadow work readings, I still will incorporate the shadows a little bit. I just have to take into consideration that some people just aren't built for listening to criticism, okay? So with that being said, I do apologize if I did offend anybody with my shadow work readings. That was not my intentions, okay? With that being said, you guys, we are going to be laying down 4 cards for the Divine Masculine and 4 cards for the Divine Feminine, just to see where your energy is at. And then if need be, I will be clarifying just to break down some of the cards in a little bit more detail, okay? Hello, everybody, and welcome. I think that's pretty much it for my intro. Again, you guys, anything I forgot to discuss, again, will be in the description box, okay, including my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this reading and see where you guys are at. A few things before I also get into this reading in pertaining to the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. It's important to understand that divine is the 5D. It is the higher perspective. It is ultimate goal for all of us to get into the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine energy and also connect the two together within us, okay? So remember that when I do speak of Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine, when I'm referring to the energy check-ins, it is current energy, not the divine higher perspective, okay? Basically, the divine higher perspective would be ultimately where we want to be. And of course, that's not the case. You guys wouldn't be clicking on this video if you were in divine and your masculine was in divine, because then with the twin flame energy, you guys would ultimately be together. So clearly this reading is going to be for singles. This can also be for couples and also no contact. Just so you guys know, the energy check-in today is going to be different from the next few readings that I do. Tomorrow we are going to be doing a singles read, bringing in new love and new changes into your life. And then we'll also do a couples read as well as a no contact read. Okay. So 3 other reads that we're going to be doing this week. But tapping back into Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine before I get all over the place with this. Okay. So the first card we do have up is I communicate with compassion in reverse. Okay. So what this is telling me is that maybe the Divine Masculines haven't been very compassionate. And again, remember, Divine Masculine can be the inner Divine Masculine within you. It does not have to be your partner. However, ultimately, there's still this disconnect with the Divine Masculine, right? Not being able to show compassion. Maybe just, when you've tried speaking to Divine Masculine, maybe Divine Masculine kind of cold shouldered you, or even just didn't really show compassion for your emotions. Maybe you spilt your heart out to Divine Masculine and Divine Masculine was just like, whatever, okay. So ultimately, I do feel like Divine Masculine with current energy. So it wouldn't really necessarily be divine. However, divine is divine. So yeah, I know it's confusing, but in the 3D world, in the tangible world, Divine Masculine just isn't his higher self quite yet, okay? Spirit, what else do we have for Divine Masculine? Show me what I need to see, please. Interesting. I wasn't getting really a whole lot of downloads, but I will say with the solar eclipse that just took place, I do feel like a lot of Divine Masculines have been awoken to the twin flame journey, okay? Not only divine masculines, but divine feminines too. I do feel like, honestly, the divine feminines have been more intuitive as far as their feelings, their energy, and just picking up on things, even though divine masculine may not understand it, okay? But definitely divine masculines are really waking up to the idea of the twin flame journey, which is actually very interesting, okay? Spirit, what else do we have for divine masculine here? See what happens. I hope everybody's having a great day so far, you guys. Spirit, show me what I need to see for my divine masculines, please. We also have, I remain in balance with my emotions in reverse. So I do feel like, honestly, again, a lot of divine masculines have been getting wake-up calls. Maybe they've been hearing or have intuitive hits. Maybe they're seeing symbolism. Maybe they're just really in their emotions, but I feel like they're really unbalanced. That's usually what takes place with the awakening. Usually it takes the unbalancing of emotions to really get you to think. I do feel like a lot of the divine masculines have been really thinking about past tense actions and really evaluating their actions and how they take action from here on out into the future. Because I do feel like, again, past tense, there were decisions made that they feel regretful for. Okay, and again, this is just how divine masculines are feeling. But I do feel like, again, divine masculines are really unbalanced when it comes to emotions because they are having this awakening, okay? They are awakening to the fact that there is possible twin flame journeys. And it's important to understand, too, with the awakening, the compassion comes after the awakening because ultimately they're in their ego before the awakening. So once the awakening takes place, then again, it's going back and really realizing, again, things that have gone wrong or things that they may have not said or communicated, okay? I have respect the property of others in the reverse. So I do feel like current energy of divine masculine is still somewhat in their ego, even though they're wakening up a little bit, okay? I do feel like, honestly, maybe even current energy, maybe they weren't very respectful of your opinion or very respectful over your emotions or the effort that you put in with divine masculine. But ultimately, and maybe this is even just what they've been going through with their current situation, whether your divine partner, whether your twin flame is in another connection or not, or even if you haven't met your twin flame, ultimately this person is kind of in a doubtful mindset. They're kind of all over the place with their emotions, and ultimately they're just barely awakening and starting to grasp the concept of things. So ultimately there's still that hesitation when it comes to respecting others, okay? And respecting their property, their being, right? So your emotions, your feelings can be a part of, the property, right? Anything that's 3D too as well. So the relationship, the effort you put into the relationship, the love that you've given to this person, ultimately this person did not respect it, okay? Or again, the situations they're in, they're just not, respecting others. They're not respecting themselves. I've said this a lot in my readings, you guys. It's really important to understand we are a reflection of ourselves. So if we are not respecting others, it's because we do not respect ourselves. So I just feel like the divine masculines haven't really respected themselves in a higher perspective, okay? In that divine energy, okay? Spirit, let's get one more card when it comes to the divine masculine, please. One more card. Okay, way too many cards, you guys. And then we'll get into divine feminine's energy, and we'll see where you guys are at too. Obviously, I'm going to clarify these cards and really find out what's going on with divine masculine. We also have, all 4 cards did come out into the reverse. So this is telling me there's still a lot of hesitation with your divine masculine, okay? We have, I advance through my abilities, okay? So again, this is in the reverse. So this is telling me that they're not trusting their intuition, okay? Even though they're unbalanced when it comes to their emotions, even though they are awakening, they're in the beginning stages of awakening. So I do feel like, honestly, there is a lot of going against their intuition. So ultimately, I feel like they're getting signs, they're getting hits. And instead of, and again, I feel like a lot of divine masculines have surged and awoken to the twin flame journey, but they're still in disbelief, okay? They're still in this awe kind of feeling like, well, is this real? So ultimately they aren't fully trusting their intuition. And I think any divine masculines out there that have already awoken to this would be past energy for you, okay? So again, it's just this kind of energy of, again, not fully understanding what the twin flame journey is. So there's still a lot of doubt within their trusting their intuition. There's still a lot of doubt when it comes to respecting others and respecting themselves. Again, the divine masculine is very unbalanced, okay, when it comes to emotions. So a little all over the place. I feel like a lot of divine masculines are really thinking about shit, okay? I feel like a lot of divine masculines are up late at night really thinking about situations. I also feel like a lot of divine masculines are in karmic relationships, and ultimately because they are in these karmic relationships, they're unhappy, right? They're not trusting their actions. They're not trusting the decisions they've made or where they're at in their life. So ultimately, I just feel like the divine masculines have really, really been, again, reevaluating everything, the seeds they've planted. So again, it's a big awakening, but it's also important to understand with any awakening usually comes doubt, usually comes second guessing yourself, a lot of unbalancing. But the point is that these emotions are stirring up your person to waken them up. Again, I feel this strong energy of divine masculines really researching what twin flame journeys are, and really starting to fully understand what it is that they have done and where it is that they are going, okay? So let's go ahead and tap into the divine feminine energy and see where you guys are at, where all my divine feminines are at. Spirit, show me what I need to see when it comes to my divine feminines. We have I am accepting in reverse. Interesting, divine feminines. So I feel like, honestly, a lot of my divine feminines are still second guessing their own forgiveness, okay? So I feel like a part of you is not accepting the reality of things, right? I feel like a lot of my divine feminines are having a hard time accepting the fact that there's no communication. Maybe even having a hard time accepting the fact that our timing and divine timing are totally two different things. And although we rush, right, in the 3D and we really want things to be right now, ultimately we don't accept that. We don't accept that divine has a certain purpose, right, and a certain timing for us, okay? Now also too with this I am accepting in reverse, again, not accepting things can be just the unbalancing of things in life, right? Something's thrown your way, divine feminine, and you feel like you don't know what to do with it. You may even feel lost with some things. This is because, again, a lot of my divine feminines are not accepting things for what they are. And it has a lot to do with holding expectations. A lot of the key thing to understand with divine masculine and divine feminine is that they are forgiving and they are accepting, okay, of whatever the case may be, whether it be negative or positive. So ultimately right now, my divine energies are not in their highest form, okay? We have divine masculine really doubting things. Even though they're awakening, they're still doubting and still being disrespectful towards themselves, towards others. I feel like there's a lot of wearing masks, not being honest with emotions. And then we have divine feminines not accepting where divine masculines are at in their process. So ultimately, remember, it's a reflection of ourselves. So even if we are not accepting of the masculine energy, that means we're not accepting of ourselves as well, okay? Spirit, let's get a few more cards for divine feminine, please. A few more cards for divine feminine, and then we'll start kind of breaking it down and finding out exactly what's going on here. Hi, Amy. Hey, Kyla. Hey, Angel. How are you guys? All right, a few more cards for divine feminine. We also have I give blessings, so very interesting. So I will tell you, I do feel like a lot of the divine feminines, and I'm talking about divine feminines, okay? This is someone who can understand the higher perspective, even though it's a lot harder to achieve in the 3D, because remember, it's easier said than done, all right? Even us as healers and intuitive and empaths, it's very even hard for us. Okay, we're humans, we make mistakes too, and I think it's really important to understand that, okay? But again, with I give blessings, I really feel like, honestly, in the divine masculine, divine feminine relationship, I honestly feel like divine feminines are the leaders of this spiritual awakening, okay? Again, I feel like females have been a little bit easier to be able to tap in. Not saying that masculines aren't, okay? Because there's a lot of masculines out there that are really tapping into spirituality, and it's so beautiful to see. I mean, there's so many, even just hearing lyrics and songs, there's so many people waking up to spirituality, and it's such a blessing, okay? I honestly feel like that's what this card is for my divine feminines. It's this energy of divine feminines blessing divine masculines, really being the leader and, being that person to show the divine masculines what it is to have this twin flame journey. Again, too, I feel like you're a blessing to the divine masculines because the divine masculines didn't know what love was. And even so, they've been tempted by the eye. They've been tempted by third-party situations. Even maybe they've just been really stubborn and haven't found the divine feminine. Ultimately, though, they have been rejecting the divine feminine. And with this, I give blessings. I feel like my divine feminines have fully transformed divine masculines. I feel like they have been the leaders and shown them what the journey is, what love is, what unconditional love is. I also feel like there's been a lot of virtues. And remember, it's important to understand with virtues, the virtue itself is the gift. Okay, so example, patience, right? Love is patient. Even though it is difficult, it's the battle going through, waiting for that divine masculine, right? It's understanding what patience is, and patience is the reward itself. Okay, so I do feel like, honestly, there's been a lot of virtues given to my divine masculines and my divine feminines, but more importantly, because of my divine feminine energy, the will of my divine feminines not giving up on love, taking the time that it needs, even though it hurts like hell. Honestly, not giving up on divine masculines is the reason so many divine masculines are waking up, okay? The strength of love is just very, very powerful, okay? Let's get a few more cards. I know that was a mouthful. Let me take a breath for a minute because, whew, that's a lot of words, all right? Let's see what's going on. Let's get two more cards, Spirit. Two more cards when it comes to my divine feminines, okay? Spirit, divine feminine energy, two more cards. You guys, I seriously, all the readings I have been doing have been just crazy, crazy energy with divine masculines really waking up, okay? Wow, what did I say? I honor virtue. Yeah, I feel like, honestly, my divine feminines understand the concept of patience, straight up. Now, I know a lot of my divine feminines are fed up. I know a lot of my divine feminines are really cutting off ties, blocking energies, myself included. But it's important to understand that it's still what you gained in that trial of waiting. That is the virtue, right? You have gained patience. And more importantly, you've gained this understanding of unconditional love when it comes to you, right? Feeling like shit, being treated like shit by divine masculine. And I won't even say divine masculine because, again, it's in the 3D. So it's the masculine not fully accepting that 5D, right? So ultimately, in this kind of energy, yes, we're doing a divine masculine, divine feminine energy, but with you guys not being in union, okay, that means you're not in your divine selves, okay? So even though I am referring to divine masculine and divine feminine, it's important to understand that in this energy is still the awakening taking place, okay? Because again, if this was at its full divine place, the connection would be taking place and you wouldn't be clicking on this video, okay? But again, honestly, divine feminines, you guys have honestly had virtues in your life. You have gone through battles, you have learned what it is, and you understand the reward in things, okay? More importantly, emotional connections, okay, or even the separation of emotional connections have created this awakening, okay? The questions asking yourself, and this doesn't matter if you're divine masculine or feminine, but the questions of, why do I keep thinking of this person? Why do I feel the way I feel? Is this person going to communicate with me? Does this person feel the same way I feel? Ultimately, we, divine feminines and divine masculines, have raised the energy. We have created the awakening because of the questioning, right? The putting faith in a higher belief. That things will work out the way they're supposed to. And I think, honestly, with everything that's going on in the world, ultimately, not just, with everything, but even with the energy levels, there is a huge awakening taking place. So I'm really excited to see what happens over the next year. I'm excited for 2023 already. Wow. 2023, where am I at? 2021. I'm already jumping a few years ahead, okay? I'm ready for 2023 too, all right? I'm not gonna lie. We also have, I consume only my fair share. Yeah, I do feel like, honestly, divine feminines have always really consumed their fair share. I feel like divine feminines have had a really hard time setting boundaries and not allowing their love for someone to be taken advantage when it comes to self-love. And I think most of you guys who have listened to my reading fully understand what I'm referring to. It's the simple fact that we haven't created boundaries as feminines, as divine feminines, okay? We didn't create boundaries, and so we allowed people to take from us left and right, including emotional relationships, including family situations and friend situations. Um, Again, having the expectations in our mind of what things should be have also led us astray, because we expect love to be perfect. And ultimately, that's not how it is. And the twin flame journey is one of the hardest journeys to be on. The twin flame journey has you filling a void that will never be filled until the twin flame is in union, right? So ultimately, it's a very hard journey until you are in union. But I do feel like, honestly, the reason these twin flame journeys are taking place is, one, to awaken us, but two, more importantly, to really teach you how to be that divine being, so that, one, you're not expecting things, and two, you're able to communicate in a divine way, right? Instead of blaming somebody for past tense actions, or instead of blaming somebody for not agreeing with you in whatever way or whatever situation. Ultimately, that is the journey. The journey of a twin flame is to learn, it is to grow, it is to transform to a higher being, to a divine entity, okay? So when I see this, I consume only my fair share. Like I said, I do believe, honestly, divine feminines have had this for a long time, but I don't feel like they've taken this when it comes to self-action, okay? I feel like, honestly, you don't consume even half the amount of what you're supposed to as a divine feminine. Again, self-love, okay? Self-respect. Ultimately, I think the biggest issue for divine feminine, again, is putting all of your love into something and not getting anything in return. But you have to ask yourself as a divine feminine, hey, am I doing the right thing here? If the thing keeps like repeating and repeating, at what point are you going to say, okay, I have to assume some responsibility here, and I have to set these boundaries forth, right? So that these people or my twin flame can't take from me, right? This is where I do feel like this. I consume my fair share. I feel like this is in an exterior way, right? People who come into your life, again, family, friends, lovers, that kind of situation. But I don't feel like you consume your fair share when it comes to you. And what I mean is, you need to take some of that love for you. You need to consume some of it for you. You need to consume, again, what you're putting out for yourself first, right? And then you can give, okay? So let's go ahead and start clarifying here. Interesting. So at the bottom of the deck, we have, I affirm that all life is sacred, okay? I do feel like, honestly, both divine masculine and feminine understand this concept so well, and I think that is the joining force that kind of creates a lot of energy. Again, in the 3D, right? Because it's earth, right? It's tangible things that can perish. So ultimately, I feel like, because of the life, right? The life experiences, life is actually what grounds you guys, right? It's the tangible things that ground you guys. And I feel like, honestly, divine masculine and divine feminine both cherish the 3D, okay? And I feel like that has been the issue for twin flame journeys. I feel like divine masculine has really been into the tangible things, the things that he can touch, smell, feel, right? The things that turn him on, the things that look appealing. And divine feminine, in her actuality, is the same, right? Because divine feminine has given all of her love out to a physical body, not fully understanding that there is a twin flame journey. So ultimately, both divine masculine and divine feminine in the 3D have ultimately been caught up in the 3D. So now the awakening is taking place, and we're seeing these energies change, okay? So let's go ahead and clarify and see what's going on with some of this stuff into the context that it should be, right? So clearly divine masculines have been a little bit, especially past tense energy, they haven't been very compassionate, okay? I'm not saying with everything in life, okay? Yes, use the time to love on yourself. And you do have to see the bigger picture. Grow, learn, right? Accept things, create boundaries, but more importantly, forgive yourself, okay? Because without forgiving yourself, nothing is possible. If you walk around saying, man, I should have done this, or man, I should have done that, you wouldn't have experienced those things. And ultimately you experience those things to learn, to grow, to change. So it's, you know, it's time that we as humans evolve, okay, and we take the next step to really awaken in ways that are more powerful than our past ways, right? Really seeing, again, the bigger picture. It's very important. And one love, right? Right? Definitely one love here, okay? So let's see what's going on with this consumption, right? Let's see, I'm sorry, with this lack of being compassionate with the divine masculine. Now, clearly, divine masculine hasn't, especially in past tense, divine masculine never woke up. Divine masculine treated divine feminine like shit. More importantly, I'm not knocking divine masculine because divine feminine allowed divine masculine to treat us like shit, okay? Key importance, forgive yourself and then you can forgive others. So I do feel like, honestly, divine masculine wasn't very compassionate in past tense, and I feel like it's still in this energy of not fully being compassionate, okay? Now, remember, for my masculines out there that are watching this video, I'm not referring to the awoken ones. I'm referring to the divine masculines who are still, you know, dragging dead weight, okay, who have not still fully awoken here. So it's important to understand that this energy is kind of a, not a negative energy, but just a immature energy here, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and see what's going on here with this compassion. What is this lack of compassion going on? Show me what I need to see. We have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, so I feel like, honestly, there was a lot of passion with these divine masculines, okay? And there still is a lot of passion. So again, this is that being caught up in the 3D, the tangible, right? The things that feel good, the things that look good, okay? Ultimately, this is stopping divine masculine from showing compassion. This is the ego, right? This is being stuck in ego. This is being stuck in what's best for me, what feels good for me, and what looks good for me energy, okay? I do feel like, honestly, too, you know, the divine masculine just fully doesn't know, especially in past tense energy, and maybe even in current energy for most of you guys. It's the divine masculine not fully understanding what compassion is, right? And I feel like, honestly, this takes place when, again, you forgive yourself. Once you can forgive yourself, then it's easier to forgive others and you can show compassion. So ultimately, there's some form of burden that divine masculine is still holding on to, okay? Again, too, this has to do with them being in their ego, because they're seeing things in the 3D. They're seeing the things they can touch, they can smell, they can feel, right? The things that again, feed their ego. Spirit, what else do we have here when it comes to this lack of compassion from divine masculine? Show me what I need to see, please. You know, and it's a shitty situation because, again, my divine feminines are waiting patiently, right? Learning and gaining that virtue of patience. But ultimately, you know, a lot, again, divine feminines are tired of this waiting energy. Way too many cards, you guys. Let's see what's going on. Anything else when it comes to the lack of compassion from divine masculine spirit? Anything else? We also have the Queen of Cups. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, you know, divine masculines have been putting their effort and love elsewhere. And it's so fucked up, excuse my language, because, again, remember, I've expressed this to you guys. Love is a game, okay? So it's all about playing a game, right? Divine masculines have really owned the game. Divine feminines are just now starting to awaken and understand that it's been a game from day one. I feel like divine masculine has not been able to show compassion to divine feminine because divine feminine doesn't have compassion for herself, doesn't have love for herself and respect for herself. Divine feminine wasn't in her divine entity. So it's not that divine masculine didn't love you. It's not that divine masculine couldn't love you. It's that you didn't love yourself, so divine masculine didn't love you. Divine masculine was passionate with you. Divine masculine was intimate with you. Because, again, you didn't set up boundaries to show divine masculine what the difference was between love and passion. Again, I feel like you showed divine masculine, I say we because this is true, we have showed divine masculine that we are nothing more than a sex toy or a sex object. Again, because we were willing to show our love through sex. Does that make sense? We were willing to show how much we loved them through sex. And I say this, and I know sex, I could get blocked and banned here on YouTube for saying that word, but it's, it's the truth. We as divine, before divine understanding, we as feminine energy showed love through sex, showed love through intimacy. Why? Because we didn't love ourselves, because we didn't understand what loving ourselves was. We expected love as a receiving, right? Not giving. Well, no, I take that back. We thought that love was giving, and that by giving you receive. But that's not how the Six of Cups energy is, right? The equal give and take has to do with you giving yourself and giving to others, right? Giving and receiving, right? Or vice versa, however you want to look at it. But ultimately, this energy of divine masculine not showing compassion is because we didn't show compassion to ourselves. We were not in our divine connection. We were not in our divine counterpart, right? So ultimately, again, we cannot blame divine masculines for our actions and allowing divine masculine to not love us because we didn't love ourselves, right? Again, we showed love in the wrong way. All right, so let's go ahead and see what's going on with divine masculine as far as this uneasy, unbalanced energy, okay, when it comes to their emotions. Now, clearly, I'm picking up on the energy of the solar eclipse, okay? The solar eclipse did a big number on masculines, okay? And I feel like, honestly, this has taken place before the solar eclipse, too. As a reader, you guys, I have been reading for a year, okay, professionally. I've always been into spirituality. I've always had gifts of healing and intuitive insight. I'm an empath, right? Clairvoyant. But ultimately, there was an awakening that even took place within me a year ago. And I really started seeing this awakening taking place with masculine energy. I'm talking about men stepping up when it comes to spirituality. I'm pretty sure you guys, you're watching my video, you've looked elsewhere as well. There are more masculine tarot readers, right? Again, it's this energy of waking up, and I feel like a lot of this uneasy, unbalanced emotion has to do with decisions made, right? Decisions not made. This is what the awakening is about. Again, it's just, sorry. Really quickly, let me get back to this because wow. Okay. So I feel like this unbalancing has to do with the fact that, yes, we showed unconditional love, okay? But this unconditional love wasn't for ourselves, right? I feel like this had to take place. I feel like divine feminine had to learn what it was to love herself. I feel like divine masculine had to fill the absence of that 100% love, right? I feel like divine feminines were made in this connection, okay? In the twin flame journey, divine feminines were made to not love themselves, right? To fully be able to give all of that love out, right? To divine masculine. So that divine masculine could fully understand what unconditional love was. I feel like divine masculines come from a bad place of not having that unconditional love, okay? Now, whether this goes back to childhood trauma, that kind of thing, maybe a lack of a mother being in the home in the right way or showing love. Ultimately, I feel like there's a lot of, again, ancestral cursage and things in the past that have a lot to do with the way divine masculine accepts love and gives back love, okay? So don't blame yourself, divine feminine, for not being in the right place at the right time, because that does not exist, okay? Ultimately, everything happens so that you can be a better person, so that divine masculine can grow into a better person, okay? Now, the reason divine masculine is very unbalanced when it comes to emotions is because of the absence of the love that you gave divine masculine. Again, the awakening, right? So the unbalanced emotions is clarified by the Empress in reverse and the Devil in reverse. This is divine masculine not changing his ways, okay? This is him not changing his actions towards divine feminine. Him not changing his actions towards change. Him not changing his actions to changing for a new prosperous adventure or a new prosperous beginning or a new passionate beginning. You can look at it in different ways. The Empress energy is a grounding energy, but at the same time, a spiritual energy, okay? And of course, the Empress in this reading is the counterpart, right? It is divine feminine. It is birth. It is creation. It is 3, right? The number 3. I just feel like the reason divine masculines, again, are so unbalanced is because they're feeling the lack of the love that divine feminines have given them, right? I feel like maybe a lot of divine masculines, and I don't feel this, I know that a lot of divine masculines have made choices based off of the 3D, the tangible, the things that look good, sound good, and are easier, right? I feel like divine masculines don't want conflict. And so ultimately, if there's anything, like whether this is friends, family, co-workers, if they feel or they hear from their close circle that there may be issues with divine feminine, or they don't see the possible outcome between divine masculine and divine feminine, ultimately divine masculine doesn't want conflict. So I feel like, especially in this energy, divine masculine is going to be like, okay, well then I'm not going to do it, because if I do and I allow this relationship with divine feminine, it's going to make shit difficult. My family doesn't like divine feminine, or my friends don't like divine feminine, or my cousin or my brother doesn't like divine feminine. So ultimately, I feel like divine masculine has not taken action towards divine feminine because of this, because of not wanting conflict, okay? But again, divine masculine is feeling very unbalanced because of not wanting to change. Again, the energy of the universe and the alignment of everything, the way everything is working out, is creating the awakening regardless if divine masculine is ready for it or not. This is why a lot of divine masculines are starting to wake up, because they're starting to see things repetitively. This has nothing to do with divine masculine wanting to change. Again, the devil in reverse is kicking codependency, but at the same time, not wanting to fully change things for what they are, right? Yeah, they have kicked things, they have stopped doing things, but they haven't ultimately changed their ways towards a new, right? A new way of dealing with things, or a new way of looking at things, okay? Let's see. Exactly, and that, and I get it. But that's the divine masculine energy, right? We as divine feminines are consumed on this energy. So we're going to see what's going on with divine feminine too, but ultimately I feel like, we each play our parts in different ways, right? Divine feminine has work to do on solo. Honestly, divine masculine does too, because like I said, for divine feminine, I feel like a lot of the energies with divine feminine, we're ready for love. We're ready for the twin flame connection before they even understood what the twin flame connection was. Because again, female energy tends to be more intuitive. Not saying that masculine energy isn't, or that they can't, just saying that naturally women with the emotions, it's able for them to intuitively, dive deep without even having to really dive deep. It's like automatically emotions come out with females. And most people will think this feminine energy is off the wall, going crazy, creating conflict. But ultimately, it's because divine feminine wasn't in her divine entity and didn't understand those emotions, didn't understand where the passion or the creativity or the love or the lust was coming from. Does that make sense? So I feel like this has a lot to do, again, with different cycles, different learning lessons. And again, you guys still coming in contact, because that's how twin flame, my cat, I'm so sorry. That's how twin flame connections are. They come together, break apart, come together, break apart. So this is kind of that energy, that fighting energy of who's going to become divine first. And again, ultimate twin flame connection, right? When they unite is because divine feminine is in her divine self in the 5D, and divine masculine is within his 5D, right? So it's divine coming together. Clearly that's not the case, right? Let's see what's going on with with your person not respecting the property of others. Interesting, we have the 4 of Pentacles coming through, okay? Again, this is the power of earthly, right? The earthly power. Exactly what I was saying. Divine masculines have been really consumed by the tangible, the touch of things, the sight of things. It was this energy of what divine masculine thought was good for them, right? What divine masculine thought looked good to the eye, right? To not only their eye, but the eye of others around them. Does that make sense? Like, they really cared what people thought about their situation. So therefore, it's not that your person can't manifest abundantly, or it's not that divine masculine cannot manifest. It's that divine masculine can manifest, but chose not to manifest certain things. Excuse me. It's like divine masculine knows that he could have divine feminine, but again, there was no respect towards divine feminine because, again, divine feminine didn't fully respect herself, right? Yep, the star in reverse, right? Wishes unfulfilled. This is more of like the nightmares, right? The star in reverse, instead of having those hopes, those dreams, instead of wishing on a star, it was wishing on a star over and over again. And this is for divine masculine, not divine feminine, okay? Interesting, because I feel like this is the one thing that connects divine masculine and divine feminine is the thought of things not being fulfilled, okay? For a divine masculine, it's more of an energy of the things he wished for, okay? He thought with the 3D what it looked like was that, and ultimately it wasn't that. So again, it's a lack of wishes fulfilled, right? So I feel like the way he's, again, and this goes back to divine feminine energy. So divine masculine did not respect divine feminine. Again, it's because divine feminine wasn't respecting herself, okay? But we're not going to blame fingers. We're not going to point fingers here. Ultimately, divine masculine didn't respect divine feminine, okay? Divine feminine gave all of her love to divine masculine. Divine masculine took it all like anybody would, okay? Ultimately, though, because of trial and error, because of what divine masculine actually did manifest, wishes haven't been fulfilled. Wishes that he truly thought were wish fulfillment did not fulfill here, okay? Spirit, what's going on with divine masculines not trusting their intuition? Show me what's going on here, please, Spirit. Why are divine masculines not trusting their intuition? Why aren't they trusting their own ability, their own power? Show me what I need to see. Why are they not advancing? Why are they not changing? Wow, 10 of Pentacles. So yeah, I feel like a lot of divine masculines are actually very content right now in their lives. I feel like where the divine masculines are at mindset-wise is on the pentacle, it's on the dollar bill, it's on the coin, okay? There's a lot of hardworking energy to achieve things that are fulfilling, but not only fulfilling short-term, where divine masculines have been for a long time, but ultimately long-term, okay? But with the 10 of Pentacles here, the reason they're not able to trust their intuition is because they're so focused on that pentacle. They're so focused on that dollar bill. They're so focused on the 3D, on the tangible, on the things that look good, smell good, feel good, right? So ultimately, this has put a real huge block on divine masculine, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at divine feminine's energy, and then we'll come back to divine masculine. I do plan on being live at least till about 6:30, okay, you guys? And so if there's any questions you have pertaining to this reading, anything you want me to find out a little bit more deeper, just let me know, and I'll read over the comments, and I'll see if one stands out over the other, okay, you guys? So let's go ahead and tap into why divine feminine's not accepting things, okay? Why is divine feminine not accepting things? Wow, interesting, right? Two of Pentacles. Very interesting, because ultimately, it's like, even though divine feminine is kind of a little bit more advanced in some ways, in other ways is totally not the leader in this situation, right? I feel like divine feminines are not accepting the situation of how things are because of being focused on balancing things, which is beautiful. But again, I feel like divine masculine, you know what, I can't even say that. I do feel like right now with this energy, divine feminine is in a state of mind of really creating harmony, okay, creating balance. But because they're focused on creating balance in their life, because divine feminines have been going through emotional shit, right? Waiting on divine masculine to wake up, asking the questions of when is this twin flame going to come into connection, right? So ultimately, I feel like because divine feminines, I feel like you guys, divine masculines and divine feminines, are mirroring each other when it comes to the unbalance of emotions. But the unbalancing of emotions is waking up divine masculine, okay? The unbalancing of emotions with divine feminine's trying to control those emotions, trying to figure out how to balance it out, right? So ultimately, because divine feminine is focused on balancing out harmony, right? Making things harmonious and easier to deal with, because again, my divine feminines have been kind of all over the place with emotions. So ultimately, divine feminines are trying to gain control when it comes to emotions, gain control when it comes to, you know, the things in life, things being thrown at them. But this is why, because that focus is there. It's like divine feminine has forgotten to apologize to herself, to accept things the way they are. It's like, instead of divine feminine accepting the situation for what it is, the disunion, right? Not having the twin flame connection. Because they're not accepting that, they're really focused on balancing it, right? Ultimately, to be able to balance it, divine feminine, you have to accept things for what they are. I feel like the balancing act has been taken into consideration to be able to get your mind off of this disunion. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I was trying to explain it in the best way I could. I feel like the reason divine feminines are having a hard time accepting things is because divine feminines aren't accepting it, right? They're just trying to balance things out. They're trying to make things more harmonious. But ultimately, it's that energy of not facing it for what it is, not accepting it for what it is. Okay, so if I could say one thing when it comes to the twin flame journey, that is to just get rid of time, period. In the divine connection, time is a tangible thing. Time is an earthly possession, right? This is why I said divine timing and our timing are totally two different things, because the concept of time in the divine element in the 5D is not what it is in the 3D. So if you are wanting a divine twin flame connection, you have to get rid of the way of thinking of the tangible world, right? So time has to go. I feel like a lot of divine feminines have been so focused on waiting for divine masculine that divine feminine has stunted her own growth. Does that make sense? Ultimately, growing to a divine, okay, look, I don't know who's going to hit divine first, okay? It could be divine masculines. If we are the leaders of this energy and we are the reason divine masculines are awakening, who knows? It could be divine feminine that becomes divine first, and we are waiting still in the 5D on, divine masculine. But it's important to understand, in the 5D, we're already in our divine energy, right? It's the 3D trying to catch up with the 5D. Now, sometimes in the 5D, I don't feel the energy of divine masculine and divine feminine in separation in the 5D. This is in the tangible world. This is in the 3D. This is why it's an energy check-in. So the question is, so is it best advice to move forward and focus on self-growth and going after our goals? Of course. Not putting in any more effort and ending the wait, most definitely. Because all you're doing by waiting in the context of time, in earthly time, you're creating a time. Does that make sense? Your focus is consumed on waiting for this person to wake up, when ultimately divine intervention is telling you, you have to wake up. You want divine masculine to wake up, but divine feminine has to wake up too, right? You can't expect spirit to come in and say, you know what? Bam, bam, here you guys go, here you guys go. I mean, ultimately, that's what we want, but that's not the way it works, okay? Okay. It's hard for me to answer that, Angel, because everybody has different situations, um, myself included. Okay. When you are in the process of being in a relationship, am I making that? You guys are in a relationship, right? Yeah, you don't have a lot of options to leave. Okay. Ultimately, you have to, because again, you have to get rid of time. Everybody takes different amounts of time. Okay, when you're focused on time, it's so hard because you have to just get rid of time in your head. Um, I can't tell you when to walk away because I have to get rid of time. Does that make sense? So ultimately, telling you to walk away from somebody right now is not the correct answer. Um, Maybe possibly walking away isn't even the answer, right? Maybe it's not even an option. Um, the point is that you do have to focus on yourself. You have to create self-love, self-worth, and self-respect. When you do that, you cannot allow somebody to disrespect you, right? So especially if you're respecting yourself and someone's still disrespecting you. Ultimately, you don't want to be in a situation to where you are in fear of your life or you're in fear of conflict or whatever the situation is. So again, I can't give you an answer there, but if you are in fear of your life, clearly walk away. There's plenty of people that can help you. But I don't feel that energy with you. I feel like it's more of a get your shit together for you and grow as an individual so that you can get yourself out of that situation of depending on somebody. Okay. Um, the worst situation to be in is to be codependent on someone. Okay, this is what the journey is all about as a divine entity. A divine entity takes care of his or herself, doesn't depend on anybody. Therefore, when a connection is divine, there is no depending on one another. It's the connection of truly enjoying one another. Make sense? So focus on you, focus on divine feminine energy. And I promise you, when you do that, it'll make the final decision. It's hard because if you're depending on somebody, yeah, girl, same situation, okay? Ultimately, you have to depend on yourself and no one else, okay? The second you are in a situation, I know that's not going to be for everybody, but if you're in a relationship and you do not have any type of money, you depend on somebody to pay the bills, to take care of you, to feed you. Stay-at-home moms is a prime example. Stay-at-home moms tend to get walked all over because there is no value of taking care of a child or doing the daily dishes at home or the food, the keeping up with the household, the household shit. And there's guys that go through the same thing, and there's women out there that, will take advantage of their person, but ultimately you can't depend on somebody like that because when you give full reign for somebody to have full control over you, they're not going to respect you. They're not going to, it's a given, right? So you have to change your cycles. You have to focus on you. And ultimately, when you focus on you and you become independent, then you can actually see the relationship for what it is. This is why I say I can't even tell you to walk away, because ultimately you could change your life purpose. You could change what it is that you're doing with your time and become more dependent on yourself. And you may look at this person in a different light, right? There can also be an energy that you are, connected to other than this person you're with. And so, everybody has different stories. So I don't want to get into all that, but ultimately you do have to do what's best for you. And even when somebody is taking care of all the bills and all the, again, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, whatever the situation is, you are depending on somebody, all right? And so there's the codependency. Okay, anytime you're depending on someone, that is codependency, whether it be the roof over your head, the food you're going to eat that night, a pack of cigarettes, or a J, doesn't matter, or taking care of the kids. Ultimately, anytime you're depending on somebody, that's when you've lost. That's when you're already faced with codependency issues. Makes sense? So you got to get out of that codependency issue. All right, so let's go ahead and see what else my divine feminines are not accepting here. Spirit, show me what I need to see. We have the Three of Swords. So divine feminines are definitely not accepting the divine masculine for being in third-party situations. Okay, for those of you guys who are dealing with a divine masculine who's in a third-party situation, I also feel like my divine feminines are not accepting of their third-party situation, okay? So for those of you guys who are in a relationship, but your heart is somewhere else, divine feminine's talking to you, there's that not accepting that, okay? There's also not accepting your person for being in a third party situation, excuse me. We also have the Seven of Pentacles coming through, right? This is, again, not accepting things that didn't work out, right? The Seven of Pentacles in the upright talks about evaluating things in a positive way and reaping the fruit that is produced. But with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, this is talking about not happy with, you know, where you planted your seeds and what happened, right? Because I feel like a lot of my divine feminines went and put the effort in planting seeds with divine masculine. And of course, because divine feminine wasn't in her divine self, didn't love herself, didn't respect herself, again, divine masculine comes in, takes all those seeds that divine feminine planted, rips them up out of the ground and freaking books it, right? So ultimately, it's that, again, not accepting the fact that it was where you planted your seeds and how you planted those seeds, how you watered it, how you nurtured those seeds, okay? Ultimately, it's like you gave your whole life to these seeds that you planted with divine masculine, but you didn't plant seeds for yourself, okay? We also have the Six of Swords coming through. This is working really hard and fighting really hard for divine masculine and still not having divine masculine, okay? This is, again, success unfulfilled, right? Not having divine masculine. So ultimately, divine feminines are not accepting the fact that divine masculine is not with them, that they are not in twin flame connection, okay? So divine feminine, this is what you have to focus on. You have to really focus on accepting things for what they are, okay? Let's go ahead and look at I give blessings. So what is it that you are blessing? The Four of Cups in reverse. Interesting. So again, I've talked about this in a lot of my readings. Divine feminines have really awoken divine masculines in the concept of, again, divine masculines were in their ego. It was what looked good, smelt good, felt good. And a lot of divine masculines did not know the difference between love and passion, okay? Divine feminines, again, were the first and the only connections in their life to actually show them what unconditional love was, what true love was, right? The power of fully giving away yourself, all of you, to someone. I do feel like the blessing in disguise that a lot of my divine feminines are not accepting is the fact that because of you, divine feminine, divine masculine understands the difference between passion and love, straight up, okay? Whether divine masculine has fully awoken, has called you up and apologized and said, let's start this connection in the right way or not, it doesn't matter, because regardless, you taught divine masculine how to fully love someone, how to fully understand what intimacy is versus unconditional love. That is the blessing. That is the blessing that divine feminine has given to divine masculine. So let's go ahead and take a look at the virtue. Okay, what is the virtue that you have? What is the virtue that you learned, right? What is the virtue here? What is the virtue that you have? Interesting, very interesting. So we have the Moon card and we have the King of Wands. So I do feel like, honestly, the virtue is patience, right? The virtue is patience because, again, divine feminines have been waiting for so long for divine masculines. They've been waiting through all the illusions, through all the bullshit, through all the passion that you know, the divine masculine gave to everyone else. Divine feminines have seen through all the bullshit of divine masculines. I feel like, honestly, in the beginning of the divine masculine, divine feminine connection in the 3D, the first connection, okay? And maybe even the other connections if you've had multiple coming back and forth yet. Ultimately, I feel like you saw through this person. You saw through the divine masculine's bullshit. And this is why so many divine masculines have held the mask, right? Have worn the mask and not fully expressed emotions because it scared the shit out of them. You have someone who is very good at not expressing emotions. You have someone who is very good at getting what they want, okay? You have someone who is very, very good, I say like the magician energy again, at manifesting what they want, pulling someone in, attracting someone. It's like, you know, it's like honey to a bee. Ultimately, You were the bee and he was the honey, right? Addicted to divine masculine's energy and willing to do anything for divine masculine's energy. But again, you saw through the bullshit. You felt the connection without fully even being in your divine self, feminine, okay? You knew that this connection was something powerful, but you couldn't explain it. But you knew divine masculine really fully loved you. You felt it. You knew it. But divine masculine wasn't awoken and didn't understand it. So by losing you, by taking advantage of you, by not evaluating the seeds or not planting seeds with you, or even taking the seeds that you planted with divine masculine slowly realized when your seed never produced. When the other seeds around divine masculine started producing, that's when divine masculine starts saying, okay, I see what love is. They may not fully love you yet, divine feminine. They may not be fully awoken to you yet, but ultimately, divine masculine is waking up to the fact of, wait, shit, there's a difference between lust and love. Because again, they're in a lusty 3D situation, right? They made the decision based off of I, not heart, right? They made the decision based off of logic, not even logic, ego, right? Because there's a difference between ego and logic. This person, again, was caught up in the touch, the feel, the taste, the look of it, right? So I do feel like the virtue, and every divine feminine is going to have a different virtue. For most, it's going to be patience, okay? But I do feel like, honestly, it was because of the illusions. If this person, if divine masculine had fully told you, hey, look, divine feminine, I'm not into you, I have no interest in you. Say, for example, you got the closure you wanted with divine masculine. If you had seen it for what it was, you wouldn't have held on, okay? If you had closed that door, if divine masculine had ended the connection, right, didn't leave the door open, didn't fully express to you, okay, for example, if divine masculine expressed their emotions and it wasn't what you expected, okay, say divine masculine says, you know what, divine feminine, I'm not into you, I don't love you, what you're feeling is not the same, I don't feel the same way. Ultimately, you would have thought about that and it would have eaten you up, and that anger would have turned into animosity, and that animosity would have turned into the fuel for you to walk away and close that door, and ultimately you wouldn't have held on. The fact that this person did not close the door, the fact that divine masculine ghosted, right? The fact that divine masculine did not communicate and left that door open and didn't fully close it, those illusions, okay, is what gave you your virtue. Does that make sense? So even though you were a blessing, sorry for my internet connection, you guys. So even though divine feminine was a blessing, right, to divine masculine, taught divine masculine the difference between lust and love, without divine masculine even fully understanding that you are the one, right? Not even fully awakening to the idea of the twin flame journey. Ultimately, though, you still were a blessing to divine masculine. Even if divine masculine is giving that love elsewhere to this third party situation that you just can't accept, okay? Doesn't matter. You still were a blessing to divine masculine. In that same way, divine masculine was a blessing to you, because again, if you had seen divine masculine for what he was, if you had seen these illusions be lit, right, and you saw things for the facts that they were, you would have not held on. You would have not had that virtue. Does that make sense? So divine masculine even teaches you patience, right? Teaches you through the illusions, right? Through the telling you what you want to hear, the stringing you along, and the waiting, okay? Wow, Six of Cups, right? There's that soulmate connection, definitely, right? So ultimately, there is this equal give and take, though, when it comes to love, right? Because without divine masculine even understanding that he was fully loving you, even the illusions were a form of love. Because again, you seeing the illusions and not seeing the connection for what it was had you holding on, right? That is love. That is a form of unconditional love, whether this person, divine masculine, intentionally did it or not, and vice versa. Again, you teaching divine masculine difference between love and passion ultimately is a form of love. You waiting is a form of love, right? So I consume only my fair share. What is it that my divine feminines are consuming? What is their fair share of consumption here, all right? Spirit, show me what I need to see, please, for this last card. Wow, the Ace of Cups in reverse. So remember what I was telling you, I feel like honestly you gave all of your love to divine masculine, okay? You had no love for yourself left, okay? It's okay, you didn't know. Now you know. Now you know that you fully have to love yourself so that, again, someone loves you in the correct way. Someone respects you in the correct way, okay? So I do feel like you consume your fair share of love. But again, this is because you didn't establish those boundaries within divine feminine, right? So again, by you not consuming your fair share of love, or by you consuming your lack of love for yourself, okay, that this is a better way to consume it, because you can consume negativity, okay? You can consume hatred, you can consume love, you can consume ego, you can consume whatever the hell you want to consume. But ultimately, you can consume good and bad, okay? This does not have to be a good card. So again, I feel like you did consume enough lack of self-love, right? So ultimately what happens, right? Mirror, reflection. If you don't love yourself, this person's not going to love you, right? So this was that equal give and take. This was that consuming your fair share, right? This person took everything because you freely gave all of you away, okay? Again, the power of love in reverse, right? This is not this overflowing love. Why? Because you didn't overflow the love within, right? You didn't give yourself that fair share of love. Instead, you gave that fair share of love away. So again, this person takes it. Divine masculine takes it, and now is like, you know what? I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna play with my lust. I'm gonna play with my passion. And you know, when the time comes, and maybe, you know, divine masculine wakes up. But you know, it's important not to wait for divine masculine, because divine masculine might not wake up in this lifetime, okay? Divine masculine might not ever wake up, okay? And I say divine masculine in the 3D and the tangible, not in the 5D, okay? And more importantly, divine feminines out there, it's important for you guys to understand that if you don't accept things for the way they are and you sit here and you wait forever, yes, look, you already have your virtue. You honor this virtue. You know that you've waited. You know that you have the patience, that, again, that virtue, right? The virtue of patience. Patience is a virtue. You already have it. So now by continuing to wait after you understand what this is, all you're doing is prolonging your ascension. You're prolonging your own change. And ultimately, this can prolong the twin flame connection, okay? And I've stated this in most of my readings. If divine feminine awakens and becomes divine feminine, and divine masculine doesn't, divine feminine is going to find, you know, something else to replace twin flame, right? Or if not, what is meant for divine feminine. But ultimately, both of you guys have to be on the same level. If not, it's not divinity, right? Let's go ahead and look at, bottom of the deck. We have the 5 of Cups, Lord of Loss and Pleasure. Yeah, that was a pretty, that card has come out a lot, the 5 of Cups, right? This is that, again, that energy of this connection makes you feel alive because of the pain. If you didn't have the loss, if you didn't have the grief, what else would you hold on to with this person? And I feel like ultimately, again, that was that waiting energy for so long with divine feminine, right? Divine feminine was hurt and in pain, but again, that was the closest thing that they had to divine masculine. So ultimately, they took pleasure in it, right? We took pleasure in crying. We took pleasure in missing this person. We took pleasure in the intimacy, the booty call, because we wanted that connection, right? We wanted to feel love, even if it wasn't love. Does that make sense? But again, you have to accept it for what it is and understand that it's not divine masculine's fault. Yes, divine masculine made some fucked up decisions, right? Yes, divine masculine is not in his divine self, right? He's still caught up in the 3D. However, divine feminine is too, right? Because divine feminine is not accepting things for what they are. Divine feminine is trying to create balance in life, but doesn't even accept life for what it is. Divine feminine doesn't even acknowledge the blessing that she's given to divine masculine. divine feminine doesn't accept what divine masculine has taught her, right? Because divine feminine still holds on to the illusions, to the grief, the loss, the ghosting, the no communication, the not having this person, because again, that's the pleasure. That is the only thing you have of divine masculine. And it's sad, but at the same time, there's so much to learn from that. There really is, because, you know, what if the person that you think is divine masculine, this person that we have waited so long for, what if that virtue wakens you up and makes you start to see the illusions within this connection, and you start to say, well, dang, maybe this wasn't my twin flame. Maybe I was so caught up in the illusions, in the grief, in the loss, in the pain, that maybe divine masculine isn't my twin flame. Or maybe the person that you're in the 3D physically thinking is your twin flame. What if it's not, right? What if the only thing holding you back from twin flame connection is holding on to this person that you think is your divine counterpart? Ultimately, that's kind of the situation you have to look at it. You have to not only look at it from both perspectives, so not only the what if, but the what if not. Then once you look at it from both perspectives, that's looking at it from the higher perspective, because you're not being sided, right? You're not being one-sided when it comes to how things should be or how they shouldn't be. Again, you know, strong emphasis here on finding pleasure in this pain. Again, I don't know, it's just this energy. Let me clarify a little bit here. Let's look at just overall energy here. Let's see what Spirit has to say. All right, Spirit, let's look at these two energies, divine masculine and divine feminine. Talking's coming through. This is you, though, divine feminine or divine masculine, just being more interested in conversating more, awaiting communication, awaiting messages, awaiting that text, that call, that email, right? This is that ghosting energy, divine feminine, right? Divine masculine. This is fully not understanding how come divine masculine's not communicating. But let me ask you this, divine feminine. If divine masculine's not communicating with you, what would happen if divine masculine communicated with you, and when divine masculine communicated with you, what if it wasn't what you wanted to hear? Are you still going to be attached to this person even if they gave you the closure that you wanted? If they had given you the closure that you wanted, would you have learned this virtue of patience? If this person calls you and communicates with you, are you stable? Interesting. The palm tree comes out. Are you stable enough to be able to handle the conversation? Or are you going to get back in your ego and give all your love away again? Are you going to get caught up in your ego and be stuck on the illusions of the talk, right? Because actions speak louder than words. So masculine can sit there and say all he wants, that he loves you and he's coming back to you, or that he wants to have a future with you. But again, if it's always a year later, a week later, a month later, still waiting on this person to take action, you have to ask yourself, is masculine energy the stability that you want? Is masculine energy giving you the security that you need? Is masculine energy permanent? Is masculine energy growing? Is he enduring? Is he being flexible? Or is masculine energy not doing these things? Passion. What did I say? Lust. Remember, I was feeling a lot of that lust. Insane chemistry. You guys like each other equally, having fun. So again, this is that twin flame journey, right? This is the twin flame energy check-in. I'm not saying that this isn't your twin flame, but what I'm saying is you have to question the connection. You have to accept what is, right? Not what could be. The hopes, the dreams, and the desires will always be there, right? The hope of dating this person, you know. You can sit there and hope to have this connection all you want, divine feminine or even divine masculine, but ultimately, if the connection is never taking place, doesn't matter how bad you hope and wish for it, right? If the change never takes place, this will never happen. And this goes to divine masculine too. If divine masculine, if you keep, beating around the bush and not communicating these emotions, ultimately those emotions are going to, again, remember, divine masculine is very unbalanced when it comes to emotions because they're not expressing and communicating, right? So I feel like because of money, because of stability in their own life, right? Not in this connection with you, but whatever has them feeling tied down to the situation that they're in, right? Whether this is money, a home, a car, a family that they share with this third party energy, or whether it's their greed for the life they've worked so hard on solo, okay? Because some of you guys, your divine masculine is single. Some of you guys, divine masculine is in a third party situation. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if they're single, if they're in a third party situation. The issue is that right now they're working on that pentacle. They're working on life. They're working on stability. However, if divine masculine is only focused on money and your energy comes in, they're not going to be focused on you. They're focused on the money, where stability is at within their life. So even though you're looking at divine masculine as your stability, your divine masculine has their own form of stability. I don't know if that made sense. I hope that did, because I did get a little bit off track there. I was trying to go somewhere, but Spirit's telling me to hush. Okay, this is going to be for somebody in specific. Purple shoes. Purple and black and white shoes. I see Nike checks, okay? I don't even know who wears purple. I mean, I would, because I like purple, but okay, purple, white, and black Nikes. Walking away. I don't know why. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm hearing. Okay, whoever that is for, Spirit's telling me to tell you, no. Okay. No for that one. I feel like that's in specific for somebody there, okay? No, but just no. Spirit, what else do you have? Show me what I need to see when it comes to divine masculine and divine feminine energy, please, in the 3D. Show me what I need to see. Ooh. Makes sense. That's what he last said. Focused on career. Yeah, because divine masculine is in a different state. Divine masculine, again, is in the tangible, is in the 3D, okay? Divine feminine is in the 5D, but still has some things in the 3D to work on, okay? But honestly, I feel like a lot of the working that's taking place with divine feminine is in the 5D because, again, it's self-love, it's unconditional love, it's self-respect, and these things aren't things that you can get by going out and buying it. Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, not some people can, when you have that kind of money, you can buy whatever you want, but I think you get what I'm saying. You can't really buy it. Like even these rich people who are lonely and just buy sex or buy love, ultimately they're not really having love because people are in love with the tangible. They're in love with the money. They're in love with the wealth. So again, I feel like divine feminines are working more in the 5D energy, right? Self-love, self-respect, accepting things for what they are, forgiving themselves for the things that are not. Spirit, what else do you have? But I do feel like, honestly, there's this energy of you taking yourself out on a date, right? There's this ambition and this drive for divine feminines to, again, gain this self-love, right? Look, healing hearts coming through. Yeah, most definitely. This is about healing. I feel like, honestly, divine feminines haven't accepted this. They haven't healed from this connection or the lack of. Yep, looking at pictures, missing, nostalgia. Yep, the sword and rose, clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, and power. I feel like, honestly, again, divine feminines are waking up and they're starting to understand that, again, a lot of the blame was really put on divine masculine for not taking action towards divine feminine. But I feel like the awakening is taking place with divine feminine. And again, slowly but surely, divine feminine is starting to accept things for what they are instead of trying to make things what they want them to be. Does that make sense? There's this clarity, there's this truth, this revelation, this change that is taking place with divine feminine. Again, it's self-love. It's one love. It's understanding that, look, if it's meant to be, it is. If it's not, it's not. It's this, ironically, again, a mirroring energy, but in different ways. Divine masculine is focused on pentacle, which is a good place to be on, right? You want divine masculine in a stable standpoint, because if divine masculine can stand on his own 2 feet, he is going to attract someone who can stand on their own 2 feet. And divine masculine and divine feminine are both 2 counterparts who are independently on their own, stable, one love, right? And so then when the divine counterparts come together, that is the ultimate equal give and take, because both are equally full, but yet when they come together, it's back and forth energy. It's not one taking from the other and the other one taking this. And you know what I'm saying? It's not just a taking energy, it's an equal energy, right? It's whatever you take from divine masculine is going to give back to you. And whatever you give to divine masculine, he's going to take from you. Do you get what I'm saying? It's this, ironically, it's even what's happening in the 3D in separation, right? That's what divine twin flame journeys are about. It's about the equal given and taking of things, even in the negative, right? Yes, in the 3D, in the tangible, it's a little bit more negative than it is in the 5D, clearly, because again, in the 5D, there is no distractions. In the 5D, there is no lack of, right? In the 5D, there is no, lack of communication. It's all there. It's in the 3D that we are trying to become that 5D, right? Again, I just feel like divine feminines have been, again, focusing all the energy on divine masculine instead of on themselves, okay? So I feel like this is the revelation, this is the wake-up call for divine feminines to, again, accept things for what they are, see the accomplishments in it, and move forward and become divine feminine, so that, again, you are that leader for yourself. Screw divine masculine at this point. Screw divine masculine and screw your forever with a partner. You have to look at you being a partner to yourself and look at the long term for you and your life, right? And whatever comes and whatever doesn't. But if you're sitting here focused on divine masculine and not yourself, you're never going to change yourself. You're never going to become the possible high, divine self if you're focused on divine masculine being this person and taking action. Does that make sense? Spirit, let's get a few more cards, please. A few more cards. And then we will wrap this reading up, all right? Yeah, and if it does, Amy, and that's the situation, look, if a man is in, or if the divine masculine is in the 3D world, it's going to be a very competitive world for him, okay? Especially if there is this unbalancing with emotions. I feel like this unbalancing with emotions is actually creating more issues. I don't even know what's going on with my hair. I didn't even realize it looked like that. You guys could have told me. It is what it is. I'll fix my hair after this video. But ultimately, it's like, if divine masculine, dude, what did I just do to my hair? I can't do this, okay? Again, it's like this really weird energy, because ultimately it's like divine masculine is focused on himself, right? Focused on getting that coin up. And if they're not focused on getting that coin up independently, they may be taking that pentacle from someone else. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like right now their coin is their stability. So if again, if they're not working and they're like the stay-at-home father type, or they are depending on another person to take care of them, ultimately that's still, that stability that they need. So again, you're looking at them to be stable for you, but they're trying to gain their own stability in their own way. Whether you think it's right or wrong or not, ultimately it's how divine masculine is feeling, right? What they feel is stable, what they feel is right. All right, let's get a few more here. Spirit, a few more cards, please. A few more cards when it comes to divine masculine and divine feminine's energy in the 3D, please. Show me what I need to see. See what's going on here. Spirit, show me what I need to see when it comes to divine masculine and divine feminine in the 3D, please. 3D energy. Wedding rings. So now this can be a few things, right? Divine masculine and divine feminine. Either divine masculine is married in this third party situation or is talking about marriage. This could be this unbalancing with emotions. Maybe they're really thinking about, the situation being a relationship that was not made with true love, was a lusty situation, and now they're faced with possibly marriage, and they're just reevaluating where they planted their seeds, where they're going, where they're at, and this could be creating the awakening. For some of you guys, this twin flame journey will end in wedding. All right, will end in a mutual harmonious connection. That's not for all of you guys. Okay, the wedding rings is for a few of you guys, not all of you. Okay, so it's important to understand that, because I don't want you to come to my channel thinking that you're going to hear what it is that you want to hear. Ultimately, again, my main purpose with my channel is to get you where you need to be on your own. Okay, fuck a twin flame, excuse my language, fuck a soulmate, not literally, but in the concept of one love, right? Focusing on you and what's best for you, so that things are easier to deal with, things are more balanced. But again, you have to accept things for the way they are. I do feel like, honestly, too, a lot of you guys want this union with divine masculine. You want this connection. You want to be married. You want to be with them, right? You feel this soul connection. Again, this goes back to the first energy in the very beginning, right? You want divine masculine to be your twin flame. You want divine masculine to step up. You want divine masculine to come near. You want divine masculine to be stable, be consistent, be that person long-term and not go anywhere, right? You want divine masculine to wake up and see you for what it is that you feel for them. Again, though, you're expecting divine masculine to do something, and that's not the way divine masculine works. Divine masculine does not do things because someone expects him to. Divine masculine does things because they feel pulled to, okay? Not even pulled to. They feel pulled to, not pushed to. Does that make sense? Spirit, let's get a few more cards here, please. A few more cards. And then we'll just get a few cards of overall advice too, okay? And then we'll call this one quits. Like I said, I'm gonna hop on tomorrow, you guys. We're gonna do a singles energy read, okay? So for those of you guys who are single, maybe those of you who, are ready to move on from this energy and just look at things from a more single energy, okay, as a solo reading, okay? So meaning we're going to focus on you as an individual, the things that are coming your way, whether this be prosperous, money, maybe a new person coming into your life, a new contract that has been made. Ultimately, we'll just kind of look at where you're at as a solo person. We're also going to do a reading on Thursday pertaining to couples, okay, you guys? So if you are in a relationship, a third-party relationship, and you think about someone else, or even if you're in a relationship and you want to focus on the relationship you are in, that's also what that reading is going to be about, okay? Maybe you want to give the relationship you're in a second chance. Maybe you want to, just for my couples out there that may be having issues within their connection and aren't ready to give up on a marriage yet. Even though your heart may be telling you that it belongs somewhere else, ultimately there's still a lot of my people who are willing to put the effort to, whether it's a twin flame connection or not, work on something. Okay, so for those of you guys, that's what the couple reading's for. And then, like I said, we'll also go into the no contact, no communication reading on Thursday as well. Okay, maybe even Friday. Okay. I do apologize for not finishing all those readings last week. Like I said, you guys, trigger warning on some of my videos created a little bit of issues. Okay. All right, so we also got seduction, attraction, flirting, dating, hooking up, temptation, third-party interference. So yeah, that's a lot of confirmation for a lot of you guys. Ultimately, I feel like either both of you guys are in third-party situations, or if not, just your person is in a third-party situation or chose a third-party situation. There was a lot of temptation. There was a lot of passion and past tense energy. Even if this past tense energy was yesterday or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, there was a lot of passion, right? But there was never the stability needed in this connection. Let's see if we can get a few more cards, and then if not, we'll go ahead and get overall advice from Spirit. I'm still seeing those purple Nikes, dude. It was like, for some reason, when I saw these purple Nikes, I got really scared. So I don't know if there was abuse involved with whoever that message was for, you guys. But again, with the purple Nikes, Spirit's saying no again. Confirmation, okay? Spirit, anything else? All right, let's get some overall advice, and then we will be done with this reading, okay? Let's see. Let's do the Moonology deck here. All right, so I just want to pull overall advice from Spirit for you guys. Ultimately, the energy of divine masculine right now is just still in this energy of just starting to awaken, okay? Divine feminine, your energy is in the energy of learning how to accept things for what they are, okay? So ultimately, to be in divine union, you guys both have to be in your highest, purest form, okay? You have to fully understand what it is for things to work out and things not to work out. You have to fully accept things for what they are, right? I feel like right now that is holding you back in so many ways, divine feminine, okay? Divine masculine's watching. I feel like, honestly, yes, you need to be working on your pentacles, okay? Yes, you need to be working on your stability. But honestly, you also need to face this unbalancing with your emotions. Divine masculines out there, you need to face your emotions. If you love someone and you're holding back your emotions to get your shit together, that's one thing. But if you're holding back your emotions and you're staying in a situation that is not serving you and not helping you grow, then you need to address the unbalancing within emotions, okay? I know divine feminine, that may have not made sense to you, but it'll make sense to my divine masculines, okay? Sorry, all over the place with these cards. All right, Spirit, show me what I need to see when it comes to my divine masculines and divine feminines, please. Let's look at all this energy, what's going on, overall advice for these two, okay? Divine feminines, it is important to understand that divine masculines do check in into my readings. I have about a 20% ratio of masculine energy that comes on my channel. So understand that, however, even though I say divine masculine, it does not mean that your divine masculine watches these videos. Not saying that it's not, but for the most part, it's just that my masculine energies do hop on my channel, so I do have to incorporate them as well, all right? Spirit, what's going on? Overall advice for my divine masculine and divine feminine energies, please. Overall advice. We have be bold and make the first move. Now, this does not mean make the first move towards divine masculine or divine feminine, okay? It's making the first move when it comes to changing yourself, when it comes to you, divine feminine, being the divine feminine, or divine masculine being the divine masculine, all right? So be bold and make the first move and make that change when it comes to, again, accepting things for what they are. Divine masculine, make that first move and communicate emotions to yourself. I feel like a lot of the divine masculines have not fully accepted the emotions that they hold within. I feel a lot of my divine masculines are keeping their emotions in, okay? They're not expressing themselves, and this is creating that unbalance. Ultimately, divine masculine, you have to accept the emotions for what they are, okay? You have to address those emotions. A win-win outcome is forecast, right? This is a divine connection. The divine masculine and the divine feminine will come together, okay? This will always be, even if it's not in this lifetime and it's in a future lifetime, ultimately divine connections always come back around. It does say that the end of a tough cycle approaches though, okay? So I honestly do feel, like I said, I feel this really strong energy for divine masculines waking up. I also feel like divine feminines are really accepting things for what they are, and they're tired of being in past tense energy. They're tired of lingering in the shadows. They're tired of waiting and arriving, or waiting on arrival, okay? And again, this is that acceptance of how things are and moving on with, the cycles, changing the cycles, right? So the end of a tough cycle does approach, okay? We also have don't let your past hold you back. Exactly. You're never going to end this cycle if you keep living in this cycle, okay? You can't hold on to the past. You have to learn from the past and ultimately make those changes, okay? Even if you have to sacrifice and make the first move to walk away fully and disconnect from your divine masculine. It's not saying that this is going to be forever, but if you have to fully let go of divine masculine's energy to be able to gain your whole self back, then do what you have to do for you. Just because you are walking away from divine masculine's connection, just because you're cutting off that energy with divine masculine, does not mean that divine masculine doesn't love you. It does not mean that you don't love divine masculine. What it means is that you love yourself enough to walk away from something that is not serving you. It's putting your foot down and setting those boundaries, saying, hey, you know what, divine masculine, I know you're my counterpart. I know you're going to come back around, but you're also not treating me good. You also have me waiting for you. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cut off this tie, and I'm going to do what I need to do for me. Ultimately, divine masculine will feel this energy and change, and who knows? Again, you might awaken and realize that the person that you have thought is your divine counterpart has not been. You may walk away from this person thinking that you're walking away, and I won't even say thinking. You may walk away from divine masculine, or you may walk away from another connection, right? Thinking that it's this divine masculine energy, and you finally accept it for what it is, right? That divine masculine, because again, you could still be in that mindset that this is your divine masculine, right? This person you're dealing with. So ultimately you accept that there's a disunion between you and divine masculine, and you walk away, right? For you. Not because you don't love this person, not because you don't want to be there for this person or still wait for this person, but ultimately because you love yourself enough to say, you know what, I need to make changes for myself. I need to make changes for my life. I need to create this balance, this harmony, right? And so ultimately you accept things, right? And you become your own blessing and you walk forward. Well, what if then you meet a new man that makes you completely change the way you thought about this person here? What if by walking away from this connection, you actually walk into your divine masculine? Again, this is why it's important to not let your past hold you back, because when you are in the not accepting things for what they are, you haven't fully awoken, okay? When you can't forgive, when you can't see the accomplishments within the failure, you're still not fully awoken, okay? So ultimately, you're still blinded. There's still illusions, right? Because you're still seeing it from a one-sided perspective, not both sides. To fully understand a divine connection or even a higher perspective, you have to be able to look at both perspectives, whether you agree with them or not. But more importantly, even when you don't agree with the other perspective, you have to understand it and take it as what it is and accept it, okay? And with this energy, honestly, divine feminine, you're not where you need to be. You need to be where you can fully see things for what they are. And with this energy, you can't. That's why the moon card came out, right? The illusions. When it came to the equal give and take of love, the 6 of Cups, okay? So again, don't let your past hold you back. Make those bold moves. Okay, 2 cards were in the upright. We have take time to breathe out. We also have bring love into the situation. Yeah, this has to do with loving yourself though. And this goes for divine masculine too, okay? I feel like even divine masculines, the reason they can't communicate a lot of their emotions is because of this unequal balance, right? This tipsy-turvy kind of emotions coming out of nowhere, and they don't know how to realize what the hell's going on because they've never had these emotions before. Again, this is why I said you were a blessing to divine masculine, okay? Yeah, I feel like honestly there's been a A lot of breathing in and holding your breath, divine masculine and divine feminine, okay? More so for divine feminine's energy. I feel like really divine feminines have really been holding their breath, just waiting. Wow, bottom of the deck, we have luck is on your side, Sagittarius energy, okay? Again, I feel like bringing love into the situation is not giving more love to divine masculine, but giving more love to yourself. Ultimately, that's what I'm really feeling with this energy with divine masculine, divine feminine energy check-in, okay? Again, I feel like divine feminine has given herself all away to divine masculine, and divine masculine didn't respect her, didn't love her. And can you blame this? Can you blame divine masculine? Look, bring love into this situation does not mean bring more love to your divine masculine. It means bring love into your situation that you're in right now. Okay? The situation you are in right now, bring love into it. Okay? Also, remember, take that time to breathe out. Again, I feel like a lot of divine masculines have been holding your breath, right? It's time to release that breath. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you guys. I hope this made sense to you. Again, we will be doing a singles read tomorrow. So for those of you who fully decided to walk away from this connection and you're ready to bring in a new connection, okay? Maybe for some of you guys, you know that this is not your person you're dealing with, okay? Meaning the person you're dealing with is not divine masculine. For those of you guys, the single reading is going to be for you. For those of you guys who are just trying to move on with your life and just, again, accept things as they are, the single read will be for you. And again, we'll get into Wednesday. That's tomorrow, the singles read. And then we'll get into Thursday, which we will be looking at not only my couples, but we'll be looking at you guys who are in disunion, who have no contact, no communication, okay? All right, you guys. So with that being said, I love you. Stay blessed. Blessed be. I will see you guys tomorrow where we will tap into my singles energy. And yeah, we'll see what's going on. Also, too, for those of you guys, even in a relationship, the single reading will really look at your life from a solo standpoint, right? So we're not going to be bringing in the energy of divine masculine. We're not going to be bringing in the energy of third-party situations or things like that. We're going to be looking at influences in your life, blockages in your life, positive things in your life, positive things coming into your life, okay? So it's going to be kind of relationship statuses aside, right? Relationship situations aside. We're going to be looking at money. We're going to be looking at creativity, that kind of thing, okay? All right, so I love you guys again. Stay blessed, blessed be, and I will see you guys tomorrow, all right? Bye. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, get this message out for those who need it, all right? I love you guys. Bye.